Just because you can do it doesn't necessarily mean you should. Episode 119, Wake and Rake Podcast. What's going on, party people? Danny Vietti, your host, as always. Appreciate you all tuning in. Hit the download, subscribe, like, leave us a review. That's how we do the things that we do. Great episode for you guys today. Going to be doing a little bit of inside the numbers, looking at splits, trying to figure out, all right, this guy does well against lefties. This guy does well against righties. Maybe this guy shouldn't be switch hitting. I have a list of 10 hitters that have atrocious splits when switch hitting. I will detail those 10 hitters coming up shortly. First, Bet Online is your number one source for the NBA and NHL playoffs this season. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online. The game starts here. All right. We got our money now. We're good to go. We can actually talk a little ball. Switch hitting starts at a young age, right? Like some people can do it. You either can or you can't. Like there's no in between. The ambidextrous people are fascinating to me. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today is players who can switch hit. But there's going to be a handful of guys that I discussed that maybe should consider not switch hitting. This conversation always brings me back to the 2013 season with the Boston Red Sox, which is incredibly ironic because my co-host on this Wake and Rake podcast very, very frequently is, of course, Will Middlebrooks, as most of you know. And he was on that 2013 World Series team with the Boston Red Sox, and he was teammates with outfielder Shane Victorino. Flying Hawaiian. Now, why does switch hitting remind me of the Flying Hawaiian? Well, in August of 2013, Shane Victorino suffered a left hamstring injury, which forced him to stop hitting from the left side. Something to do with his leg, and he had back issues that he was dealing with as well. So he just hung it up for the rest of the season. He could not swing a bat from the left side. He said, all right, I've been a switch hitter my entire Major League Baseball career, 8 seasons. I'm going to stop doing it mid-season, and I'm just going to hit from the right side only. Never hit right on right. He's never hit as a right-handed batter against right-handed pitching. All of a sudden, mid-career, big leaguer, in the midst of a postseason, Victorino decides to just hang it up. So he stopped hitting as a switch hitter from there on out. His career as a left-handed batter versus, of course, that would be his career as a left-handed batter versus right-handed pitching. He was a 266 hitter with a 724 OPS. His career as a right-handed batter versus left-handed pitching, which is what he inevitably wound up doing for the rest of his career, he was a 299 hitter with an 859 OPS. So his OPS is about 130 points higher from the right side. So he was always a better hitter as a right-handed hitter than he was as a left-handed hitter. So, blessing in disguise, I guess, is it forced him to only become a right-handed hitter. So after the switch, Victorino, of course, became a right-handed batter versus right-handed pitching, a right-handed batter against left-handed pitching. Well, his career right-handed batter against right-handed pitching, 260, 723 OPS. As a left-handed batter against right-handers, he was a 724 OPS. A right-hander against right-handed pitching, 723 OPS. So he dropped 1 point being a right-handed hitter against right-handed pitching. And of course, he topped it all off, which most remember by now, Game 6 of the American League Championship Series for the Red Sox against the Detroit Tigers. Shane Victorino hit a go-ahead and eventual game-winning grand slam in the 7th inning to beat the Tigers and advance to the World Series. Victorino, of course, he was batting as a right-handed hitter because of the injury, and he was facing a right-handed pitcher in Jose Veras. Remarkable story for a guy to just completely disregard everything he's ever been taught as a big league player, a good all-star big league player too. All of a sudden, mid-season, just no longer going to hit from the left side. We're going to go right on right. And he hits a game-winning grand slam in the American League Championship Series, goes on to win the World Series with Middlebrooks and the rest of that Red Sox team. So switch hitting, that's the story that always comes to my mind. A little bit of nostalgia for you guys on this episode. Switch hitting is not easy, folks. Not at all. But there are some guys that do it better from the right side, and there are some guys that do it better from the left side. And of course, I say again, just because you can do it doesn't mean you necessarily should. Jose Ramirez is one example of a guy that can do it great from both sides. Jose Ramirez is well on his way toward a Hall of Fame career, the levels that he's hitting at right now. And you look at his splits against right-handed pitching, the Cleveland Guardians all-star third baseman against right-handed pitching has a career 507 slug and an 865 OPS. Against left-handed pitching as a right-handed batter, Jose Ramirez has a 492 slug and an 834 OPS. So the OPS nearly equivalent. So the best switch hitters, yeah, they can do it great from both sides. Francisco Lindor is another guy that comes to mind. Mickey Mantle was a switch hitter. Roberto Alomar, Chipper Jones, one of the best hitters of all time. Eddie Murray. So today we're not going to discuss the best switch hitters because Jose Ramirez would certainly fall under that category. We're actually going to discuss and detail hitters that maybe should consider pulling a Shane Victorino and giving up switch hitting altogether because the splits indicate they're not so great from one side of the plate. Started out with your shortstop from the Cincinnati Reds and superstar Elly De La Cruz. Elly De La Cruz is, if anybody should consider stopping switch hitting, Elly De La Cruz is probably first in line. Elly De La Cruz, and a lot of people are going to say small sample size when I give these stats, but bear with me. Elly De La Cruz in his big league career has played about 100 to 200 games so far at the big league level. And against right-handed pitching, Elly De La Cruz has a 256 batting average and 817 OPS. And he has a 21.2 at-bat per home run rate against right-handed pitching. Against left-handed pitching, Elly De La Cruz in his big league career, fewer at-bats, but a far lower level batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, OPS. His batting average against left-handers, a 204 batting average compared to 256 against righties. Against lefties, he has a 567 OPS. Against righties, it was 817. Elly De La Cruz, his OPS against lefties is about, doing the math in my head, about 250 fewer points against lefties than it is against righties as an OPS. Significant. And against left-handed pitching, Elly De La Cruz, his at-bat per home run rate, 62 at-bats per home run. Against righties, it was 21.2. So he's hitting a home run 3 times fewer than he is against right-handed pitching. People, whoa, Elly De La Cruz has only been in the league for a year. It's a small sample size, Danny. Slow down. Off your rocker. All right. Well, there's limited stats, split stats in his minor leagues, but found them. The baseball nerds will always find you. Double-A Chattanooga. It's a double-A level, guys. If you're not succeeding at the double-A level as a switch hitter, some question marks. Against left-handed pitching as a right-handed batter, in double-A, he had a 283 batting average, 734 OPS. Remember, he is better from the left side at the big league level, significantly better as a left-handed hitter. As a right-handed batter, again, I say 283 batting average, 734 OPS. As a left-handed batter in Double-A Chattanooga, 315 batting average, a 990 OPS. Again, the OPS 200 points higher from the left-hand side as when compared to the right-hand side, Double-A. That's a big drop-off, 150 points, 200 points as a left-handed hitter compared to a right-handed hitter, Double-A, major league level. Now, in Triple-A, he did okay as a switch hitter, but talk about small sample size. He only played 38 games for Triple-A Louisville, and his OPS was about the same, over 1,000 as a right-handed hitter and left-handed hitter. So maybe that doesn't feed into my argument, but as a means of not leaving any critical information out, he played 38 games at the Triple-A level and was a successful switch hitter. But again, I say, Elly De La Cruz, you look at his splits as a left-handed and right-handed hitter, night and day. Night and day. And unless we see Elly De La Cruz really make significant strides as a right-handed hitter, maybe it's time for him to hang up the bat from the right-hand side and just focus on being a left-handed hitter. Now, it's easy for me to say, but hey, it's a 204 batting average as a right-handed hitter and a 567 OPS. League average, far from it. Far from it. He's hitting a home run every 62 at-bats. He's a well below average hitter as a right-handed batter. Well below. If his numbers, his career numbers, were just based on as a right-handed hitter, he would not be at the big league level. Elly De La Cruz, maybe it's time for him to consider just being a left-handed hitter. Number 2 on my list is Ozzie Albies. Now, this is far from small sample size. Elly De La Cruz has been in the league about a year at this time. Ozzie Albies has been in the league a whole lot longer. Well over 1,000 games for Ozzie Albies, and from the left-handed side, from the left-hand side against right-handed pitching, a 250 batting average, a 313 on base, 442 slug, and a 754 OPS for Ozzie Albies as a left-handed hitter. Now, as a right-handed hitter, Ozzie Albies, a 339 batting average, a 364 OBP, a 568 slug, and a 932 OPS. Ozzie Albies, a far, far better hitter from the right side than he is a left-handed hitter. The home run rate against right-handed pitching, 25.8 at-bats per home run. Against left-handed pitching as a right-handed hitter, 21 at-bats per home run. So his slugging percentage higher, his ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark much higher from the right side than it is from the left side. And that, again, not a small sample size at all. Albies has played well over 1,000 games at the big league level, including postseason games. Much, much better hitter from the right side than he is from the left. Catcher for your Texas Rangers, Jonah Heim. Now, Texas has attempted to kind of limit the at-bats for Jonah Heim from one side of the dish because they understand that his splits aren't as great. He doesn't hit as well as a left-handed hitter as he does as a right-handed hitter. Career numbers show that. You look at his minor league numbers, they indicate the same things. So they've tried, they brought over Mitch Garver, who was, he would help split time behind the dish. So Jonah Heim, 364 games and well over 1,100 plate appearances as a left-handed hitter. And he's a career 220 hitter as a left-handed batter. On-base percentage of 282, that's well below average as a left-handed hitter, and an OPS of 652. Jonah Heim as a right-handed hitter against left-handed pitching, 340 at-bats, 370 plate appearances, a 279 hitter compared to 220 as a left-handed hitter. 279 hitter as a righty, 220 as a lefty. His OPS, 790 as a right-handed hitter. So very similar to Ozzie Albies. Jonah Heim is a much, much significantly better hitter from the right side than he is as a lefty. Look at his home run splits. Again, very similar to Ozzie Albies. 26 at-bats per home run as a right-handed hitter. 28 at-bats per home run as a left-handed hitter. So a couple more at-bats per home run. It's not too significant. Slugging-wise, home run-wise, it's actually, we're splitting hairs at that point. But the OPS, 150-point difference between a lefty and righty. Ketel Marte, infielder for the Arizona Diamondbacks, had a tremendous postseason last year in 2023 on their way to winning the National League pennant for the Arizona Diamondbacks last year. But you look at his splits, and another case where this is no small sample size. Ketel Marte has played many a season in the big leagues. Let's see. Looks like Ketel Marte is in his 10th year at the big league, so plenty of time. And as a left-handed hitter against right-handed pitching, Ketel Marte, well over 2,500 at-bats, and he's a career 266 hitter. As a right-handed hitter against left-handed pitching, Ketel Marte is a career 304 hitter. 40 points difference in batting average. He's much, much stronger from the right side. Look at his OPS. As a right-handed hitter against lefties, an 883 OPS. As a left-handed hitter against right-handed pitching, is a 758 OPS. 758 OPS, solid. That'll play. So, I'm going through this list, the whole call it clickbait, if you will. The whole title of this episode is hitters that maybe should consider hanging up switch hitting. Like Ketel Marte is still a league average, OPS hitter as a left-handed batter. So I'm not saying Ketel Marte should just completely, call it a wrap on his career as a left-handed hitter. Again, consider the headline a little bit clickbaity, if you will. But you look at him as a right-handed hitter, and he is not just league average, he is well above league average. As a right-handed hitter, a 304 batting average and 883 OPS. As a right-handed hitter, 24.8 at-bats per home run. As a left-handed hitter, 37.5 at-bats per home run. So a lot of people thought he would develop into a little bit more of a slugging type infielder. Well, from the right-hand side, he has been 24.8 at-bats per home run. As a lefty, not so much. His batting average dips below 270. OPS dips around 750. Ketel Marte, maybe. He's a good hitter from both sides, but significantly better from the right side. I'm going to catch my breath. We have 6 more guys on this list. I would love to detail how they are as lefties, how they are as righties, including all-star players on this list. One of them's from Chicago. We have an up-and-coming star from San Francisco. And we have a couple guys from St. Louis. So we're going to take a little short break here. We'll be back with more splits, switch hitting talk. All right, welcome back to the Wake and Rake Podcast. Talking about splits, talking about switch hitters. We've already broken down how Ozzie Albies, a much, much stronger hitter as a right-handed hitter than he is a lefty. In fact, 339 batting average. That still just wows me. Ozzie Albies is a career 339 hitter from the right side, a career 250 hitter from the left side. It's massive splits. You're a manager on the other side of things, and you're playing matchups, right? I mean, you got to have a lefty warming up a righty warming up in the bullpen if Ozzie Albies is coming. The problem is that the 3-hitter minimum in that Atlanta Brave offense, you can't really do the whole righty lefty thing as much due to the rules restrictions. But regardless, Elly De La Cruz, Ozzie Albies, Jonah Heim, and Ketel Marte. Those were the first 4 hitters on my list. Now we're moving on to an outfielder in Chicago, an all-star outfielder in Chicago. I'm not talking about Cody Bellinger, talking about Ian Happ. Ian Happ, as a left-handed hitter against right-handed pitching, is a career 249 hitter, 351 on base, 468 slug, 820 OPS. As a career right-handed hitter, 243 batting average, 315 OBP, 391 slug, and a 707 OPS. Now, if you're really paying attention, which I hope you are and haven't fallen asleep yet, as a left-handed hitter, he's hitting 249. As a right-handed hitter, he's hitting 243. That is not a significant jump. So if you're sitting there like, whoa, like Danny, like you're splitting hairs now, like now you're just critiquing players. There's a 6-point difference in batting average, lefty-righty for Ian Happ. It's less about contact percentage with Ian Happ. It's significantly differentiation in the numbers, power-wise. So Ian Happ, as a left-handed hitter, has an 820 OPS. Ian Happ, as a right-handed hitter, has a career 707 OPS. So more than 100-point difference in OPS from the right side versus the left side. Slugging percentage. Slugging percentage as a left-handed hitter, 468. Slugging percentage as a right-handed hitter, 391. Big jump. Big jump. Home run, at-bats per home run, it's nearly double. So as a left-handed hitter, we just talked about how his slugging percentage as a left-handed hitter is nearly 100 points higher. Well, as a left-handed hitter, his at-bat per home run, 19.8. So it takes him about 20 at-bats per home run from the left-hand side. As a right-handed hitter, 35 at-bats per home run. Nearly double. So it takes him nearly twice as many at-bats to hit a home run as a right-handed hitter as it does a left-handed hitter. So again, Ian Happ, batting average, not that drastic at all. But slugging percentage-wise, gap to gap, extra base hits, home run percentage, pretty big difference. Luis Rengifo, one of my favorite names in Major League Baseball to say, which, by the way, Rengifo is really one of the better utility players in baseball. Continues to get better and better every single year. Last year, he had the injury issue and kind of stunted his growth a little bit. But all the chaos that happens in Los Angeles and all the attention that goes to Ohtani and used to be Ohtani and Trout and the complete disaster that can be the Los Angeles Angels. Luis Rengifo is a very good player, a good utility player, albeit not as great from the left side as he is from the right side. Luis Rengifo as a left-handed hitter, 238 batting average. Luis Rengifo as a right-handed hitter, 284 batting average. About a 50-point difference in batting average. As a left-handed hitter, Rengifo has a career 678 OPS. Rengifo as a right-handed hitter has a career 790 OPS. What is that? 120, 115 point difference in OPS. Power-wise, as a lefty, 36.2 at-bats per home run. As a righty, 25.9 at-bats per home run. So right-handed hitter, much stronger. He's got more slug. He's getting on base at a much higher clip, and he's hitting balls out of the yard at a much higher clip. And Rengifo has played, got to be at least 5 years by now. 6 years in the big leagues. Not a small sample size at all. He's played 488 games. He's got over 1,800 plate appearances. OPS, 120-point difference. Much stronger hitter from the right side as he is the left. Next up on my list, talk about underrated players, man, and just superstar waiting to happen. You know, San Francisco drafted a kid named Joey Bart out of North Carolina State, and he was supposed to be the next coming of Buster Posey. He was supposed to fill the shoes for Buster Posey, and it just didn't quite work out as perfectly and as seamless as they would have wanted in the Bay. But then they drafted another catcher shortly after that out of North Carolina State. And up to this point, he has passed all of the tests and passed with flying colors. His name is Patrick Bailey. If you haven't heard of Patrick Bailey yet, you should. Look at his defensive WAR last year, one of the better catchers at one, calling a game, and two, throwing runners out. They don't run on Patrick Bailey. It's tough to run in the National League West with Patrick Bailey and Gabriel Moreno. It's tough to get swipes. Patrick Bailey, great defensively. With the bat, some people think he still has some developing to do. As a right-handed batter, though, I mean, you're supposed to fill the shoes of Buster Posey. Well, how about this? As a right-handed batter, Patrick Bailey, a 299 batting average at the big league level, an 808 OPS as a right-handed hitter. On base percentage, 343. It's Patrick Bailey's numbers as a left-hander that leaves some to be desired. A 229 batting average as a left-handed hitter for Patrick Bailey, 286 on base percentage. So his on base percentage is well below 300 as a lefty. That OPS dips down to 642 as a left-handed hitter. His OPS as a righty, 808. His OPS as a lefty, 642. About a 160-point difference in OPS. That's a big margin there. And Patrick Bailey, kind of similar to Elly De La Cruz, I knew I would get some pushback because people are saying, whoa, Patrick Bailey's only been at the big league level, maybe a year, Danny. Okay, well, let's look at what Patrick Bailey did at the minor league level. Now, small sample size again, because Patrick Bailey didn't play a whole lot of games at the minor league ranks. He played 4 seasons at NC State, and then he got drafted in 2020, I'm sorry. 2020, he was the 13th overall pick in the 2020 draft at NC State. And then he only played 82 games between A ball and rookie ball. That was in 2021. In 2022, he got bumped up to high A and he played 83 games, which is where I'm going to give you my numbers here. In 2023, he only played 28 games between AA and AAA. And then he got the big league call up to the big league team, and he's been there ever since. So 28 games at the AA, AAA level, very small sample size. The largest minor league sample size I have is his 21 season in single A with Eugene. Now, this is strange, though, because it's actually completely opposite when you look at Patrick Bailey's minor league numbers compared to his big league numbers, at least split-wise. And again, the title of this is guys that should consider maybe stop switch hitting. Now, Patrick Bailey, look at his minor league stats. You'd probably say he should probably stop hitting from the right side and just focus on hitting from the left side, but his big league splits say the complete opposite. So again, the only large sample size I have is from his numbers with high A Eugene, and Patrick Bailey as a right-handed batter against left-handed pitching, he hit just 133. He hit a $133 as a right-handed batter, 460 OPS. As a left-handed hitter in high A Eugene, Patrick Bailey hit 251 and had an 847 OPS. So it's a complete opposite split-wise of what he's doing at the big league level that he did in the minor league level. I wish I had access to his splits at the NC State level. Unfortunately, I was unable to track those down. But yeah, Patrick Bailey, from at least at the big league level, has not been able to sustain as much success from the left-handed batter's box as he has from the right side. 299 batting average as a right-handed hitter, 229 from the left side. Moving on, Midwest. Dylan Carlson is number 8 on my list. It's a list of 10, so we've got 2 guys remaining. One more St. Louis Cardinal, too, by the way. So 2 Cardinals on the list. The Lou. See those, the uniform, the City Connect uniforms, and John Crook and the Philadelphia Phillies. I was just watching the Phillies Cardinal game, and they were talking because the Phillies are going to be playing in London coming up here very, very soon. And John Crook, he proposed Cardinals playing in London, and they wear the Lou City Connect jerseys in London, which, of course, as my fellow Brits would say, the loo is another name for the restroom. And John Crook, in John Crook fashion, thought that would be hilarious if the St. Louis Cardinals wore the loo. And he was like, they're going to think they're complete shit if they're wearing the loo across the front of their jerseys. The loo. Anyways, let's get back. St. Louis, Dylan Carlson, another guy that I talked about. Ketel Marte. Dylan Carlson is a guy that they thought the power would develop a little bit more. Fantastic defensively. St. Louis is always good defensively, always amongst the best in the majors and outs above average, fewest errors. Dylan Carlson patrols the center field as good as any. With the bat, not so much, especially as a left-handed hitter. If Dylan Carlson was only a right-handed hitter, he'd be a 300 batting average and an 827 OPS. If Dylan Carlson, however, was only a left-handed hitter, he'd have a 218 batting average and a 665 OPS. That's where Dylan Carlson has lost a lot of his playtime. Dylan Carlson, they've always wanted him to be an everyday player in the Lou, but it hasn't worked out because he just has not gotten it done against right-handed pitching. Dylan Carlson, again, 300 batting average as a righty. As a lefty, 218. Power-wise, not really. Again, he hasn't really developed into the power hitter they hoped. So power number-wise, and you look at bat per home run, nothing great. It's nothing too drastic. It's more so getting on base, batting average-wise, split-wise, the drastic difference. Against righties, Dylan Carlson, 40.9 at-bat per home run. Dylan Carlson against the lefties, 35.7 at-bat per home run. So again, less about power here, more about getting on base. As a righty, he's getting on base at a 373 clip. 373 on base percentage as a righty. As a lefty, he's getting on base at a 301 on base percentage. So that's about a 70-point difference, 72-point difference. Let's go up north. Chicago, to be exact. Yoan Moncada. Yoan Moncada, of course, he was a big piece of the trade between the Boston Red Sox and Chicago White Sox to acquire Chris Sale. Now, the Boston Red Sox certainly reaped the benefits, at least periodically. Chris Sale helped them win the World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers in, 2018. Yoan Moncada, some all-star seasons there, and has shown the ability to be an all-star player, but has yet to really do it as a consistent level. Oh, I'm looking at, I guess, Moncada has not been an all-star yet, but he has had some really solid season, particularly in 2019. Moncada, he batted .315, had a .915 OPS, 25 home runs, 79 ribbies. That was by far his best season, but he's been plagued by injuries. A lot of the White Sox have, as like Eloy Jimenez and the disaster on the south side of Chicago right now. But Moncada, one of the main reasons why he probably hasn't had as much consistent success is because his splits don't match up. As a right-handed batter, is a 715 OPS. As a left-handed batter, his OPS is 770. Batting average-wise, they're pretty similar. And, nothing to Nothing too drastic, nothing too crazy. As a right-handed batter, he bats 250. As a left-handed batter, he hits 256. Definitely not going to look there and say, stop switch hitting Yoan Moncada. More comes down to the slugging percentage and the at-bat per home run. Yoan Moncada hits a whole lot more balls out of the yard as a left-handed batter than he does as a righty. 27.9 at-bats per home run as a left-handed hitter. 38.9 at-bats per home run as a right-handed batter. Slugging percentage. As a lefty, 436. Slugging percentage as a righty, 391. So your slugging percentage as a lefty, above average, is slugging percent or league average. His slugging percentage as a righty, 391, below average. Batting average, nothing crazy. Again, the OPS even isn't that crazy. It's a 55-point difference. So a better hitter from the left side than he is from the right side, albeit nothing too drastic. Final hitter I have on my list here of players who maybe should consider stop switch hitting is Tommy Edman. Now, speaking of guys that can just do it with the glove, I talked about Dylan Carlson in the Lou doing it with the glove, being a Gold Glove type defensive player. That's what Tommy Edman is. Tommy Edman is like your dude's dude, like everybody's dad who loves watching those Marco Scutaro-esque the utility players that can play everywhere and do it defensively and can put a bunt down. Old school baseball. That's who Tommy Edman is. Great player, and unfortunately, he hasn't played yet here in 2024 because of injuries. But Tommy Edman has had some time at the big leagues now. Is he an all-star last year? No, he won the Gold Glove. He won the Gold Glove in 21. I'm sorry. That was by far, up to this point, probably his most successful season. He won the Gold Glove, batted 262. He had 13 home runs the last couple seasons too. But Tommy Edman, really strong player, but not nearly the player from the left side as he is from the right side of the dish. As a left-handed hitter, he has a career 700 OPS. He's a career 261 batting average. Slugging percentage, this is where it gets juicy. Slugging percentage as a lefty, 381. Slugging percentage as a righty, 484. A 103-point difference in slugging percentage as a righty versus a lefty. And now let's bring in the at-bat per home run. It supports it. As a left-handed hitter, it takes him about 55 at-bats per home run. As a right-handed hitter, it takes Tommy Edman just 25 at-bats per home run. It's less than half. So the power numbers for Tommy Edman as a righty, 25 at-bats per home run. It's a lefty, 55. It's double the amount of time. And like a lot of people would say, well, you face more right-handed pitchers than you do lefties, so you're getting more reps. Certainly. But the batting average, 16-point difference, the on-base percentage is pretty comparable. Nothing too crazy there. But slugging-wise, that's drastic. That is significant. 55 versus 25 at-bats per home run for Tommy Edman. Slugging percentage, 103-point difference. Tommy Edman, fantastic defensively. Probably going to win another Gold Glove in his day. Every team is going to want every team is going to want a Tommy Edman on their ball club. A team is really going to want Tommy Edman on their ball club if they need a right-handed hitter. So there you have it. That's my list of 10. Go back through one more time. Elly De La Cruz, Ozzie Albies, Jonah Heim, Ketel Marte, Ian Happ, Luis Rengifo. Love saying that name, Rengifo. Patrick Bailey, Dylan Carlson, Yoan Moncada, and Tommy Edman. That's my 10 hitters who should potentially, consider not switch hitting for the foreseeable future. The main one for me really is though, what inspired this episode for me was Elly. Like Elly's numbers, it's not just at the big league level, it's the minor league level too. You look at his AA numbers, you look at his AAA numbers, the power numbers. Elly De La Cruz, I'm just talking in circles at this point, but as a left-handed hitter, 21.2 at-bats per home run. As a right-handed hitter, 62 at-bats. It's taken him 3 times the amount of at-bats to hit a home run from the right side. 204 batting, 256. It's incredible. The OPS, 817 as a lefty, 567 as right. If this sustains, I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a hitting coach somewhere that walks up to Elly and says, look, man, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to just become a left-handed hitting player. That's it. Drastic. We're going to have Pops join the Wake and Rake podcast once again. My father, you've heard him on the podcast before. And me and him are actually going on a little MLB road trip coming up in June. So we're going to document it. We'll do some episodes along the way. We're starting out in Chicago. Going to go to Wrigley Field, going to go to the South Side, and we're going to take a flight over to Pittsburgh, go to PNC Park. We're going to head to Philadelphia, go to Citizens Bank Park, take the train up to New York, go to the Bronx, go to a Yankee game. It's going to be Yankees-Braves. Looking forward to that on a Sunday. After that, take the train up to Boston, go to Fenway Park, say hello to my boy Willie. Then we have a flight to Baltimore, which is where we finish our trip, where it's Baltimore Orioles versus the Cleveland Guardians, I think it is. So it's going to be, 7 ballparks in 8 days, I think is what it breaks down to. So it's going to be fun. So I'm going to have Pops on here. It'll at least give me somebody, to banter with on here because I'm tired of just, being solo on here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, please hit download, subscribe. Please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That's how to do the things that we do. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Wake and Rake Podcast, all part of the Believe Network. We'll talk soon, people. Peace.